Hello everybody, this is Glenda and Buster with aka GK Fralin of Friendly Community. And our friendly community welcomes you. Ooh. That day off gives us both a recharge. Yep. Tonight, we're going to do a couple things off of the Check-A-Day calendar. I'm going to read a short section of my new book, Charlie's Romance. And we're going to have some elements for a new set of stories for you to choose the elements of. You to fill in the elements that I give you. Okay, according to the Check-A-Day calendar, today, Sunday, is National Good Deeds Day. Okay, and then Monday, the 16th, is Teach Your Daughter to Volunteer Day. Well, I'm going to change that to Teach Your Kid to Volunteer Day, because it could be a daughter or a son. Let's not get sexist here. I'm not worried about that, but I think both should learn. I think it's a good idea as parents that we do teach our kids to volunteer, because it's what we learn young that generally sticks with us. It doesn't have to be volunteering like months or years at a time for an organization. It can be a one-day volunteer here and there, helping an elderly person to scoop their sidewalk or rake the leaves. It could be all kinds of stuff. The old Boy Scout thing of helping the old lady across the road. Opening a door for someone. But it needs to be something real and from the heart, not something to brag about. And that's the things they need to learn. Giving is a very, very precious gift. It is a gift to give. It's also a gift to receive. I remember when I was a kid, when we went to church, Mom and Dad gave each one of us some kind of a coin, and it was to go into the offering plate. We loved it. We felt like we were a part of the service a little more, and that we had a little more to do with the church. And it grew with us to where we understood giving. And with other things, church, 4-H, whatever, we did volunteer things to help out. So it's an important lesson children need to learn. So enough with the lecture. Thank you. I am going to read a short section. I'm going to try and make it short. Of Charlie's Romance, which is my upcoming book. You might not get to finally hear about Charlie. Yeah. You haven't heard about Charlie? Well, I mean, I've heard about him, but you haven't read about him to me that I remember. No, probably not. But anyway, let's read it now. Good. Okay, this, I'm going to preface this by, in the first book, Who Be Charlie Be? You find out about why he's dark-skinned when his family's white. He has gone through so much since his father passed away, and he's been helping with his younger siblings, which there's a lot of them. So anyway, onward we go. This is 5 years after that book. And so it is now 1910. He is now with his friend Carl, and they are in St. Joseph, Missouri, where they have just come by train to work for the railroad. So, here we go. Later, the two made their way to the railroad office, which looked exactly like the other railroad cars, except that it set off the tracks with wooden steps leading to a regular entry door instead of the huge door on pulleys. Ready? Let's sign in for section repair crew and swing some hammers. Carl sounded excited. I'm ready. Thanks, man. My headache is completely gone. He drew a deep breath and sighed. For the first time, Charlie stepped into the future without the security of a parent. My dear friend Carl, you have no idea how important you are to me, Charlie thought. The two stood before a balding, gray-haired man who barely looked up from his desk. Hello, I am Section Boss Harry Brake. You can call me Sir. Sign the payroll list on that table next to that door to my left. Tell Edna, the lady peeking through the top half of that Dutch door, use your size and she'll get you some overalls. You get one pair free and then you can pay for any additional pairs. You'll need a spike hammer. Get one here and we'll deduct it from your pay. The man's voice droned like he'd repeated the same speech many times. We work a 6-day week. You'll live in tents and take your meals in the cook's tent. He finally paused for a breath and pointed to the other end of the office. A blonde, curly-haired woman who looked to be in her mid-20s peered through the top half of the door, while the bottom half remained closed. So that's a Dutch door. I don't think I've ever seen one before. I've seen one in a barn, Carl bragged. Charlie thumped his friend playfully on the arm. Well, I'm going to build me a house someday and put one in it. What do you think of that? I think that sounds like a wonderful idea. This time the speaker was female, and as the men looked at her, an engaging smile cut across her face. The payroll ledger is on the table to my left, and if you haven't figured it out yet, I am Edna, Sir talked about. Her grin widened more as a low groan crossed the room. Her platinum hair swept modestly up and back in a sort of loose bun. Strands escaped around her face and neck. She wasn't dressed stylish as one who would expect a woman around town might do, but instead wore an ankle-length, pale blue cotton work dress with a simple tie at the waist, the kind Charlie had seen his mother wear when doing chores around the house. Even though she wore a drab costume, she was anything but plain. Even without a corset, her waist was tiny and her curves filled out in all the right places. Sounds like he's a little smitten. Smitten? Smitten. You need to work on your T's. At the door, Charlie pushed Carl in front of him, which caused his friend to glance back, scrunching his nose between his eyes. What the heck kind of a glance. Okay, so here's our elements. I called you Charlie. My name's Buster. But Charlie's a good guy. Yes, he is. Okay, these are our elements for upcoming story. Name, either male or female. Age, from 10 to 20. A volunteer job, one day doing something. And a dilemma they face during the volunteer job. Why don't we have some kids go help rescue rats out of a sewer or something? They're afraid of rats. I wouldn't do that one for nothing. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for listening and being with us. And we love you. Come back again tomorrow. Subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. And tell somebody about us.